Good evening, everyone, and welcome back into DETV for another weekly sports update. Here we are on Monday, December 12th. NFL Week 14 is in the books. The Sixers had a very eventful weekend beginning on Friday that had our group text going off a little bit. I know Dennis feels a certain way about Doc Rivers after that one. They rebounded nicely last night. It's Brock Purdy time in San Francisco. They took it to the Bucks yesterday. Again, sorry, Dennis. Got back-to-back with Dennis there early to start the show. Eagles are the first team in the NFL to clinch a playoff spot. We'll talk about that as well. And then Justin Herbert outdoing Tua Tagovailoa on Sunday Night Football last night in a battle of top 7 draft picks. But guys, tonight we're going to start with the NBA. But first, Jason, Matt, joined once again by Jason McCall and Matthew Maurer here as Dennis Pritchett is back in the producer's room here for us. But guys, here we are on Monday. Jason, again, you once again out of town, but again, not for different reasons this time, but we're glad to have you back. And
appreciate it.
Hope everything went okay over the weekend.
Yes, it did. Went okay. Rest in peace, Big Mama. You'll be sorely missed. But yeah, we're going to do this one for you, and every other day we live, thank you for impacting my life and the lives of everyone around you. We love you. We're going to miss you a lot.
Appreciate Jason being back with us here on Monday. Matt, great to see you again as well. Your 49ers, it feels like, every week picking up another bigger win. Brock Purdy coming in, looks pretty good yesterday. He takes down the GOAT.
Yeah, man, it's back to Nick Mullins' time, man. That's what it reminds me of, man.
Oh, no. Man. We'll talk about the 49ers here in a little bit as well. And now I know which direction Matt is going to take that conversation in a little bit. But let's start, guys, with a little basketball. I know we've been into the NFL season and talking football a lot here the past few weeks and months. But let's start with a little NBA today. And let's talk about the Philadelphia 76ers. I know Dennis was hitting us up in the group chat on Friday night as I was keeping up with the Sixers-Lakers game. I kind of thought it would be over, right? I turned it off a little bit there, up by 12 with 2.5 minutes to go, but that was not enough as the Lakers went on a run to send that game into overtime. Unfortunately, the Sixers were able to pull it out in overtime, but that's a game they should have had locked up heading into that point. And then Embiid with a huge game last night against the Hornets, 53 points, 11 rebounds. I know, Jason, you'll be able to talk a little bit about that game as well. But guys, let's just start off with a general conversation here about the 76ers, a tough one against the Lakers on Friday, but they do win back-to-back games, starting to get into a little bit of a rhythm now. James Harden's back in the lineup. Let's just see where you guys stand on the 76ers so far this season. Jason, I'll start with you. You watched that game last night. Again, they've won the last 2, had a little bit of a slow start to the season, but here they are now up in the 5th spot in the Eastern Conference. That's been pretty tough. What have we seen from the Sixers so far here this season?
Oh, you talked to me?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I took a nap about the Sixers. Honestly,
I kind of feel the same way.
They're in the words of the great Matt over here, the Sixers are very mid this season, if you will. I mean, literally, they've been with a pack, 5th seed in the East.
Yeah.
I don't know what to expect from them from game to game. And there's one common denominator. We say it every other week on this show. Yeah, it's Doc Rivers. I don't get why he's still the coach of the team. When you have players of the caliber you have with Embiid and Harden, and once Maxey comes back to the fold healthy, and the other role players on the team, Tobias Harris, among others, 5th seed is cool, but the fans of Philadelphia are expecting top 3. They're expecting championship. It's been championship or bust for the past 4 or 5 years now, and it's been more bust than championship. We can't get past second round every year. Have been to a conference final since 2001.
With the guy, MVP candidate, it seems like year in, year out.
So it's something has to shake, and it has to happen soon. So, I mean, they held out Lakers. Lakers are actually getting heated up. So Anthony Davis been playing like Anthony Davis of old.
Yeah, that's true. We haven't talked about him yet. He started turning on a little bit.
And LeBron James still plays in the NBA, so that's always going to be a tough game. But the game last night versus the Hornets, we saw the Embiid that we need to see. Stay in the post. Stay in the mid-post on down. You have one of the best jumpers in the game, regardless of height, regardless of position. You're a great shooter. Put the ball on the floor, and when you're playing against 4s and 5s, you're stronger and faster than most of them. And last night, he was 20 for 25, I think, from the field, something like that, but it was all pretty much around foul line down, high post on down, which is where he can make his money every game. 3-point shot, it looks great. It looks cool. It's in vogue, but you're a big man. No one can guard Embiid on the low block. it's been proven, not Jokic, not Giannis, not anybody that's a center in this league. Once he gets focused on staying in the post, what's Shaq say? Barbecue chicken? That's what it is. In the post, barbecue chicken. But great game from Embiid. Anthony Melton had a good game against the Lakers.
Yeah, stepped up 30, right? 33 points that big, and they were kind of leaving him open there in that one on Friday night. He made him pay from LA, right from that area. So a big game for him to help the Sixers win that one. Again, the biggest game of his short career in a Philadelphia 76er uniform. But again, going back to that game on Friday, Russell Westbrook, a triple-double off the bench in that one. The first player since Magic, or first Lakers since Magic, to give you a triple-double off the bench. Russell Westbrook. Again, Embiid and the Sixers, how do you feel about him, Matt, going forward? I mean, I know last year, kind of the same thing for me. That really had, and I agree with you, Jason. Nothing really has tilted the scale for me to believe in them any more than I would last year. The Kings, again, I know we've talked about this since we began the show. The Kings have made a conference finals more recently than the Philadelphia 76ers. I mean, that's insane to think
That's
of.
still about 1 year. Don't do that.
That's still, I mean,
that's still about
I'm a Sixer fan. You think it don't hurt me? I'm just
still
telling
about
you.
1 year.
I mean,
it wasn't 2012. It was 2002. A year after you guys. It's okay. It's okay.
Still tough to swallow,
chocolate
but
era,
yeah, for real. There you go. There.
Dibs there.
But Matt, what's your outlook on the Sixers here? I mean, what do they? If they have to do, do they have to do anything? Are they championship contenders as it stands right now?
I'm gonna say no. Not championship contenders because they don't have the championship contending coach.
Well, there we go. Yeah.
They're not championship contenders because they don't have that third guy that they can count on. I think they need to take a page out of the '83 Sixers. The last time they won, when they had a dominant center like Moses, they had a perimeter-oriented scorer like Tony. They had Dr. J that could slash, and then they had Bobby Jones and Maurice Cheeks that could play defense. Defense is. They're inconsistent. I do like what D'Anthony Melton does typically. I think he's really good. I think they need to give him more minutes. I'd like to see Maxey continue to expand his role, and he's really got to wrestle that role from Harden. And I don't know if that's a coaching staff conversation needs to be had, where it's like, look, you need to distribute the ball, get this young fella involved in the game, because when Maxey's involved in the game, because you can just see there's some games where he's just totally out of it.
Yeah, and
he looks lost.
And again, that goes back to this year. Like, they haven't been on the floor a lot together, right? Because Maxey's been hurt with that injury that he suffered. Harden was hurt. Now Harden's back. Maxey's not back yet. How long is that going to take to get going now with these two, the inconsistencies of them just being on the floor together?
And Tobias Harris, to me, just throw him into the ocean of forgetfulness, because I'm not a big believer in Tobias Harris. He's very frustrating. I mean, there's one game he'll get you 20 points, and the next game he'll get you 5. It just depends.
But here's the thing with Tobias, that I'm in partial agreement with you, but at the exact same time, Tobias has never been used properly since he's been in Philly. His skill set, they don't cater to his skill set. He has to really go out and fish for points when he needs the ball a little bit more in his hands, but also just call some plays for him. And they really don't do that. He has to go off loose balls and spot up, find an open spot in threes. But he's really a person who can put the ball on the floor and post you up too, but they don't really run any set plays for him.
But I think I agree with everything you're saying, but I do think that's the one thing about Tobias Harris that's been hard for him ever since he left Tennessee. He's been that hybrid forward who's kind of not.
Is he a 3? Is he a 4?
Yeah, he's not really a 3. He's not really a 4. It's kind of like he's a hybrid, and it can be hard for a team to draw up plays, I just think.
He has his best years in L.A. was that with Doc as well?
Yeah, Doc was a coach of Clippers. Yeah.
So
All-Star, should have been an All-Star that
All-Star.
year, I believe. It was like 22 points a game.
Yeah, he got one, yeah.
But the thing with him is, though, even going back to his whole career in the NBA, he's been serviceable everywhere he's been, but he's always been traded too. So it's
That's
like,
a fact.
what
Jimmy
is it?
Jackson.
Well, I was going to
2.0.
say, I mean, I feel like he's been
not
with this.
Jimmy. Nobody.
Jimmy Jackson, bro. Just throw him in a trade.
Nobody's Jimmy Jackson. I'm going to play for everybody at least twice.
Yeah.
And again, I feel like
Tony
now
Massenberg,
this has to be the longest stop of his career. I mean, I feel like he's been in Philly now for the longest period of time. I mean, for this part, hopefully you think he'd be able to settle in 4 or 5 years down the road here. And again, hard to drop. Every now and then I agree with Jason, give him a look, but he's also your fourth or fifth option with them offensively. PJ Tucker's been struggling as well. But yeah, go ahead.
That was the guy's on.
Oh, see, there you go. It's been
and
defense.
I know he
there.
does. He says he doesn't care. I know he's got this.
Somebody got to care.
This tough, rough exterior that I don't care what fans say, dude.
It shows.
It shows you don't care because you don't have any pride out there.
And that's something that you never thought you would see out of him, right?
I know. I didn't see this in him in Texas. And, that's the problem. I think when he went to Milwaukee, and played that great defense in that series.
Won the championship,
I think he
yeah.
felt like he arrived, and maybe that's part of the problem. Maybe too much champagne and not enough beer. You need to go back to beer.
No, he had before that. He thought he was a star in Toronto.
That's true.
And again, I mean, this year, they signed him on a 3-year deal. That was kind of a question mark. He was a free agent that a lot of teams were going after. They wanted him on a 1-year or a 2-year deal. The Sixers give him that 3-year deal, and we're already starting to see, I don't know if you want to call it a decline.
He's already my age. How are we getting 3 years deal?
Yeah, we were the only ones, I think, to offer him a 3-year deal. I mean, coming off of his best shooting percentage of his career last year in Miami.
Yeah. Well, when you take 10 shots and make 6 of them, I can do that too.
And then you look at his stats now in front of us, guys. I don't know if you're aware. You probably are. 3.4 points per game, 4 rebounds, and an assist on 38%. Still shoot 38% from 3. A little probably, I would say, a little bit below what we're
those numbers are
expecting him to
Draymond
shoot.
Green-esque.
But I don't know.
Without
Draymond's got to give you
everybody.
it. Yeah. So I mean, I don't
By
know.
himself.
And he's still getting the minutes. And then you look at the game logs: 32 minutes, 33 minutes, 42 minutes, and he can only muster up 3 points in 42 minutes.
I think he's there for like the enforcing attitude, just like a Montrezl Harrell. But Montrezl should
Yeah,
be getting his minutes.
I agree with you too.
Montrezl Harrell should be getting PJ's minutes right now.
That's a fact.
His energy, he always is around the basket, always has an eye for the ball,
And he cares.
and he gets fouled, goes to the line, and hits his free throws.
Yeah.
I would start Harrell right now if I were the Sixers or PJ.
That's a fact.
Again, $2.5 million. I think the vet minimum for Montrezl Harrell coming to Philly late in that free agency window. Glad they were able to get him. 12 minutes, 9 points in that game.
That's what I'm saying.
Against the Hornets last night. So he has been efficient.
Yes.
Again, they're 5th in the East as of right now. I think all three of us. I mean, we're gonna have to see them improve. Not saying they're not, completely out of the championship contention. But as of, for me right now, again, as you take a look at the standings on your screen there, Boston.
You said number one team right there. You said number one team.
21-6.
Oh, all right,
Milwaukee,
to make sure.
19-7. Cleveland. I've been really impressed with what I've seen from Cleveland, and I mean the last 10 games. If you look at them, we'll see what they've been doing. But
No,
I've
that
been
Brooklyn
impressed with
band
them. Brooklyn, Ben Simmons dealing with some injuries. They're starting to put a little things together. So
That's why
we're
he's
starting to
not
see it shape up a little bit. Yeah, right.
This is ugly, man.
So, but yeah, you look at it there in the East. Very impressive last season. Coming in, we thought it was going to be even more competitive than what we saw last year. But the East, there you go, guys. What do you think of the way it's shaping up so far, Jason?
I'm going to give you a team that I like a lot of people aren't talking about. That number 7 seed right there.
As our boy Ben Mathurin, right?
Ben Mathurin, but also Tyrese Halliburton's been playing out of his mind the whole season.
I still don't get. I mean, I guess
I
the
don't
trade
get that
worked out
trade
for
either.
both teams. I mean, Sabonis has been playing well in Sacramento. They've been playing well this year. I guess better than we thought.
Tyrese
But I mean, I would
Halliburton,
have
man,
at the time I would have never
he's
traded
been-
for Halliburton.
He's been playing just phenomenal basketball all season.
That's a fact.
Yeah, see, I didn't. I mean, when that happened, it was kind of like, whoa, they traded Halliburton for Sabonis, and some other things were thrown in there. But I guess you could say it's worked out for both teams.
Both teams.
Yeah, I guess you could make that argument now. Something I thought, at the time was a little crazy, but it's going well for them so far. And another team that's going well for, we're just going to sprinkle them in here before we get to the NFL. That's the New Orleans Pelicans, top seed in the Western Conference. Not sure if many of us saw that coming into the season. They had a great end to their run last year, giving the Suns, a series in that first round of the Western Conference playoffs. I think Ingram's been out the last few games.
Yeah, they goes without Ingram.
But Zion,
that's the impressive part.
Yeah, and CJ, Zion, those guys have stepped up. I think trading for CJ last year was a huge move for them.
yeah.
That boosted them. Going forward, they needed that leadership, that guy in the locker room. Dyson Daniels, 11 points yesterday. I know that's one of your guys, Matt.
Jones.
They've got some young
some
guys
young
that
guys,
can compete. Alvarado, I know he was refusing to call Chris Paul by his name the other day.
Oh, yeah.
With the little, they got snippy. They've been snippy the last 2 times, but the Pelicans, Matt, take them down the last 2 times they play. They're the top seed in the Western Conference. Are they a team that's going to finish up near the top of that Western Conference come playoff time?
I think so. They got the young guys that are precocious enough and have the swag.
They don't care.
Yeah, exactly. They don't care. I mean, when you saw what Zion and the rest of those guys did against Phoenix, they literally let everybody know. I don't care what you are. I don't care what you did. And I don't care if you're going to the Hall of Fame. I don't care. And they literally went out there and they did it.
That's what I think when I look at Alvarado. He just doesn't care at all. He's going to D up regardless.
And I do think that the one thing I enjoyed the most out of that was seeing Booker and Paul cry about that last second dunk by Zion.
Yeah, I wish we had the clip of that one.
Because
I
one
didn't send that to you,
talks
Dennis.
more saucy than Booker does
Yeah.
when the shot's falling. And look, bro, it goes both ways, man.
Talks trash every single game, and he can't take it when somebody else gives it back to him.
That's a fact.
But to answer that question you said about the Pelicans, yes, they're for real. They were scary last year had they gotten out of that series. So people were afraid to play them last year.
And that was a Zion that had, I don't even know if he was
Well,
coming back that day. They were thinking about he was going to come back, but they held him
That was
out.
just Brandon Ingram and CJ last year. So imagine when you put Ingram back in this mix full time. They will finish top 3. Now, I don't know about the number 1 seed, but they'll finish top 3 in the West. And will they be a tough out? Yes, because the thing is, you don't know what you're going to get from Phoenix. You don't know what you're going to get from Memphis is also a mixed bag right now.
I was going to throw Memphis at you in a second because I know that, that's your group over there.
Because of injuries. They're a mixed bag. And then you throw in Dallas, Luka can't do it all by himself. And that's the problem. They are missing Brunson this year. It's evident on the court.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, Luka, again, and it seems like year after year he keeps shouldering more and more of the load. And Dallas, we'll see how they hold up come playoff time. They've been pretty good, though, the last 2 years come playoff time. Memphis, Jason, as you mentioned, they're sitting in that second spot in the West at 17-9. Denver, 16-10. Phoenix right behind them at 16-11. Then in the fifth spot, the Sacramento Kings at 14-11. Then, guys, you look down at 7-8. Jason, you got the Clippers and the Warriors. So they're sitting down at the end.
Denver is the team that if they can just stay healthy, this is the one team that everybody's afraid of every year because they're big and long at every position and they go 2-3 deep at every position. If Denver can stay healthy, that is the key.
That's a big hit.
Now Jamal Murray's back, so that's a good thing.
And that's my X factor for them. I'm a big Jamal Murray
back
fan.
today.
Like, I think
My X factor, I'll see your Jamal Murray and raise you MPJ.
you were going to say Michael Porter, yeah.
If MPJ can give you anything this year, I don't care what it is. If he can give you 15, 20 minutes a game, it's going to be a problem because shout out to Aaron Gordon, buying into the system and playing good basketball right now.
Yeah,
Aaron Gordon's playing very good basketball. So and the Joker is the Joker. Still shouldn't have been MVP, but he's the Joker. But like I said, Denver is one of those teams where I look at. Of course, Memphis was always going to be my squad in the West, but again, a lot of the squads in the West depends on health.
Yeah,
because
that's the name of the game.
If the problem is this, if the West lets the Lakers get hot, I know we don't like their makeup of their team, but if the Lakers get hot, they're one of those veteran teams where you let those old guys get heated up, they're going to stay hot for a while, and that's the problem. You can't let them creep up like the Nets are doing right now in the East. Lakers do that same thing, it's going to be a problem for a lot of teams.
Lakers 13th in the West right now, Matt. They sit at 11-15. I do think they need to make some more roster adjustments if they're going to make a run. I know they're already trying to make some trade. Buddy Hield, Bogdanovich from Detroit, they're inquiring. They're trying to get some weapons. We'll see if they can do it. Again, personally, I hope they do not. I like the roster as it stands with the LA Lakers. But let's talk about the Clippers and the Golden State Warriors really quick before we move on. They're sitting at that 7-8 spot in the West there. Those are two teams I expect come playoff time to creep their way up potentially in the top 5. You're right, if they're healthy. What do you guys think about the Warriors and the Clippers? Are they two teams, Matt, that you're going to be worried about if you're in the Western Conference?
I'm worried about the Warriors.
Not the Clippers?
No. And it's not because I don't believe in George and Kawhi. It's just, again, to Jason's point, everything's health.
Yeah.
It's uber health with them, especially with Kawhi. Because Kawhi, he'll play great one series, and then
you won't see him for a couple weeks.
Won't see him for 2 weeks.
I'd say it's been bizarre this year. I thought this was, he was going to come back. It is.
Yeah,
it's kind of crazy.
exactly.
And again, not a lot of info out there, as always, about Kawhi Leonard and what he's doing and all that. It's been an interesting year for him and the Clippers.
Here's what's funny. When John Wall is healthy out of the 3 of them,
Oh, yeah.
that's saying a lot.
Yeah.
It's saying a lot.
And
I love John Wall, but if he's the healthiest out of those 3,
Something's not going well.
Something's not going on right now.
Going well.
And why is Reggie Jackson still starting at point guard for the Clippers too?
They just refuse to move him.
We'll see what happens. I mean, they're going to have to make some adjustments, too.
Am I wrong for thinking that?
No.
He's a great 6 man, but starting.
I agree with you there. Yeah, you'd love to have him off the bench.
I'm not
starting.
I'd rather start Terrence Mann at the 1.
That's a fact. Yeah. And I know everybody calls him Luka Doncic, but I call him Luka Harden because they're about the same guy.
Same skill set.
Same skill set, same guy, and it's going to have the same problem, which is he wants the ball, he dominates the ball, and he kills most other guys' rhythm. just a fact. You're going to have to surround them with shooters, and you're going to have to hope they make it.
And I thought Brunson helped a lot with that last year for them. And again,
He
he
did.
is not there this year. Quick, I just want to say one thing again before we go on throwing some little things in here. I'm disappointed in Minnesota, 13-13 after making the huge trade. One of the biggest trades. I mean, oh my goodness, 5 first-round picks.
It was a dumb trade.
I mean,
The
to get Rudy
Timberwolves are still the
Gobert.
Timberwolves.
It was a dumb trade.
But I mean, come on, 13-13. They were supposed to be a team that was picking near the top 3 or 4 teams in the West. I know it's early, but 13-13. They have not been good so far this season.
Why are you surprised? You have a team that's trying to depend on Big Cat and Gobert and D'Angelo Russell.
Yeah.
Well, I guess
You really thought they were going to depend on those guys and be okay?
and again, I'm a big Anthony Edwards guy.
We all are.
Yep,
But
and
love Anthony Edwards.
Me too. One of my favorite players in the league.
I
But
call him Kermit, though,
but
from the movie Netflix.
oh my God.
That's my man, 50 grand. But you raise a key point. Gobert is one of the most overrated centers of all time to me. I don't see it.
You're Dennis
I
Clapton in
don't
the
see
back.
it. I mean, I know he's been 4-time defensive MVP.
I don't see those either.
I don't see it. I grew up with
I never saw
Mutombo. I grew up with Hakeem Olajuwon. I don't see it.
David Robinson, Lonzo
David
Mourning,
Robinson.
he's gone.
Yeah, I mean-
I don't see it. I never saw it.
And again, that's what again, the name is escaping me, but they went over and they got from Denver their, general manager, president of basketball operations, who drafted Gobert, or excuse me, from Utah when he was in Utah. So he came over and he was like, hey, that's my guy. I'm going to throw 5 first-round picks and a few players at him.
Yeah.
They did, but of course, did not work out so far. So, and again, coming in, that was the regular season. That was where they were supposed to have their success. Gobert is not a great playoff player. They were hoping to have a high seed, get some home court advantage, and then figure
was
it out.
Cat.
And then figure it out in the playoffs. Well, you're 13-13 with Gobert. I think the outlook's not looking good in Minnesota.
But here's the biggest problem with Gobert that everybody missed, and it's in every NBA scouting report, is when you force him to move away from that basket and he has to cover you on the ground, on the perimeter, he's barbecue
Yeah,
chicken.
he is. That's
Hey,
he
listen,
is. And we've seen it
cement
year in and year
feet.
out. That's why, again, Utah, with all the weapons that they've had, all the all-stars that they've had, the accolades that they've racked up over the last few seasons, they
Yeah.
can't advance in the playoffs
That's right.
because of that reason.
Can we go to football?
Yeah, let's go to again. There we go. That's our most NBA time we spent so far, but it's good we were able to get into it.
I talk Timberwolves. Ever since KG, I get depressed. So I don't want to talk
Yeah, I
about
do
Timberwolves.
miss
It's just what it is.
That's
Shout
right,
out
you
to
got
Doug West.
Boston.
Doug West.
Doug West.
I said Doug,
NBA Jam.
Doug West, Sam Mitchell.
There you go.
All right.
You ain't a real baller if you ain't played NBA Jam with Doug West.
Doug West and Leitner.
That's right.
Well, let's get now to the NFL. Again, some good basketball talk to kick off tonight's show. Let's talk though and start with the Philadelphia Eagles here. They smashed the Giants 48-22. This one was over early. Not sure if you guys had a chance to check this one out. It was at 1 o'clock kickoff.
I caught some of that.
And I mean, it was over about, I would say, quarter number 2. The Giants coming in with some injuries. Saquon was questionable. He did play. He was a full go. Would not matter as the Eagles got out in front early and then just rode it all the way through. Hurts 21 of 31, 217 yards, 2 touchdowns, an efficient day. Added 77 yards and a touchdown on the ground. They clinch and are the first team in the NFL to clinch a playoff berth. Again, they're hoping to lock up that number 1 seed here in the next few weeks. Guys, we know, I guess we can all agree that the Eagles are for real. They're sitting at 12-1. But who's their biggest competition, though, Jason, going forward in the NFC? Last week we talked about the Cowboys. The Vikings go down. We'll get to them in a little bit. They lose to the Lions. The 49ers, Matt, we'll get to your 49ers in a bit. But who's the biggest competition for the Eagles as they sit at 12-1 in the top seed in the NFC?
The 49ers.
Mirror.
Honestly, the reverse answer is themselves. Yeah, the mirror. No one else. It's the
So,
mirror.
yeah, talk a little bit about it. What do you think?
First of all, I'll give y'all a stat. Miles Sanders is the Eagles' first 1,000-yard rusher since Shady McCoy in 2014.
Crazy.
It's about time they gave him the ball, right, Jason? Over years, that's been a pet peeve.
So I'm going to give them credit for getting a 1,000-yard running back first time since 2014. I said that was crazy. And then Chip Kelly traded him to the Bills next season. But let's just run the
Chip
day.
Kelly. You don't
Chip
want to send
Kelly.
that name around here. Yeah.
But no, I really like what I said it before the season started. I said it in the preseason. I thought the Eagles were going to go to the Super Bowl because just off the roster alone. Now they actually put them together every week and they just keep doing it in different ways. And thank you, Devontae Smith, for finally putting up some numbers in fantasy for people. Thank you, sir.
Starting to get rolled now.
Starting to
The
get rolling
absence
again.
of Dallas
And
Goedert.
that's the scary part. The thing is this: that you have Devontae rolling, then you can ease Goddard back in. This team is a problem. There's no way around it. They're a problem again. Their biggest competition is themselves. No one else.
And again, it was the defense in full force yesterday, Matt. 7 sacks for this defensive
crazy.
line. 3 to Brandon Graham, who looked like he did in 2017.
He still played
winning
football.
the Super Bowl. 3 sacks for Brandon Graham. Again, 7 for the team. The defense looks good. They're missing, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, a few other guys. Hopefully they'll come back, but it doesn't seem like they've missed a beat so far. They look pretty good.
No, and Jason brought up a great stat, and as well last week, A.J. Brown is the first 1,000-yard receiver the Eagles have had since Jeremy Maclin.
Jeremy Maclin.
Yeah.
Jeremy Maclin.
So we have 2 firsts for the Eagles since 2015.
And what do you know? 12 and 1.
Like
It seems to be a correlation between, 1,000 yards and some wins there.
I just don't see anybody, barring
Jeremy
any.
Maclin?
Jeremy Maclin.
I'm sorry.
How about
bearing
that
some
combo?
mental
Deshaun Jackson and
issues.
Maclin. That was the best receiver tandem they
Yeah.
had since this new one. That's for sure.
Yeah, it's crazy. I don't see how. I think the Niners, if they get healthy,
I agree. The Niners are the one team I'm like, oh.
Yeah, they could fight.
Yeah.
But no one else. Sorry, Dallas fans.
Yeah, that's going to be a big one again.
Dallas better beat the Texans
I
yesterday.
think the media is obligated to refer to Dallas each and every week, so I just had to throw them in there here just to mention them for just for the rights. But now, guys, Jalen Hurts, Mahomes
MVP.
throws 3 picks yesterday in that game.
I don't care.
Can we finally agree, right, that maybe he'll drop from that top spot in Vegas, and can we now give Jalen Hurts the front runner for MVP?
Mahomes been the MVP in my eyes all year. I don't know what everybody else is
Hurts,
watching.
you mean?
I mean, Hurts.
Yeah, I agree. I'm with you. I think we're all with
Hurts
you.
has passed the eye test every week.
Every week.
And continues to.
Again, I don't think Hurts has 3
Their team was 12 and
interceptions
1.
on the
No,
season.
it's
I think
not-
Mahomes had 3
It's not even
yesterday.
that. Even without all the numbers, your team is 12 and 1.
And he's got both, right? You got
you
the
have
numbers
both.
and the
Number and the
wins.
record.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's no way.
No, I don't see how he loses it.
Again, a few more weeks, but I'm with you. Again, a couple Jalen Hurts. Hopefully, we'll be able to catch that rookie or MVP ticket that we had early on in the season. Also, guys, Nick Sirianni's here, Coach of the Year. Dan Campbell making a run.
yeah,
now. I mean,
it's-
there's a few other guys out there.
It has to be.
Kevin O'Connell, though, losing that game to Lions yesterday, that's going to drop him back a peg. I think it's still Sirianni's got to be the favorite.
It's Sirianni or Campbell. But here's the thing. If the Lions end up with a winning record, it's going to go to Dan Campbell. It's just...
That'd be crazy.
Only because it's the Lions. They had to win something.
Yeah, and again, I agree with you there.
That's-
We'll see.
that's nothing.
I think if the Eagles lock up that number 1 seed, I think it'll be hard. Or I say when they
What,
do,
next week?
I think it really will be a week from now. But I will say I do think it will be tough to not give it to Sirianni if they do lock up that number 1 seed here shortly. But I'll tell you, I'm not going to take it away from the Lions. They have been fantastic. 5 of 6 wins for them. We'll get to them here
But I think
in a little
we're
while.
remiss if we don't mention one other guy. That's Mike McCarthy.
Just fucking. Oh my God!
Just playing around.
Matt, oh man, Mike
I'm just playing
McCarthy. How long can we? I mean, and as if you're going to root for the Eagles, I hope to God that Mike McCarthy stays there as long as possible. I would love to see them
I would love it
extend
too.
Mike McCarthy. We'll see how long he's in
Jason
Dallas.
Garrett was there for what, 8 years?
That was just a joy.
That
was a joy.
I mean, Mike McCarthy was in Green Bay for a long time. I can see him staying in Dallas for a while, too.
I was hoping Jason Garrett would never leave. Unfortunately, that time came to an end. But boy, was I, rejuvenated when I heard Mike McCarthy was going to be the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. You got to love that. But Matt, let's get to your 49ers. They stay hot. Brock Purdy, Mr. Irrelevant.
That's right.
Coming the
know
first
his name now.
The first, actually, Mr. Irrelevant to throw a touchdown pass in NFL history. That was Brock Purdy. He comes in now, gets the start, 16 of 21, 185 yards, 2 touchdowns, ran 1 in, so he accounted for 3 scores in that win over the GOAT Tom Brady and the Bucs. And this one, like the Eagles-Giants game, Dennis, I'm sorry, was over rather early. I mean, 35-7. The Bucs added some stuff there late. McCaffrey, a huge game for him. 14 carries, 119 yards, a touchdown. Had that touchdown catch, 34 yards receiving. Debo had a rushing touchdown. Did have to leave with that ankle injury, I believe an ankle and MCL. He had an MRI today. They said they will hopefully get him back at the end of the regular season. So going to miss a few weeks.
It was the news of today compared to seeing an injury
It was
yesterday.
tough to watch yesterday.
Night and day.
I mean,
it's good.
Yeah.
And
good
you're right,
stuff.
Jason. I want to say it looked, guys, as if it was maybe a torn ACL,
Yeah,
something
but
along
look-
those lines. He was holding that knee in a lot of pain. He tried to walk off the field. They had to bring the cart back out for him, so it didn't look good for Debo. But again, great news, as you mentioned, Jason. He should be A-OK, hopefully, to come back. Tom Brady, 250 yards, a touchdown, turned the ball over twice, 2 picks. Worst passing yards per attempt in Tom Brady's career this year. They have just
You hear that,
not
Dennis?
looked good. And again, going up against that top-ranked 49ers defense was not a result for success there for them. But Matt, the Niners keep rolling. Can they win the Super Bowl with Brock Purdy? Are they Super Bowl contenders with Mr. Irrelevant?
I think they can, but before I need to get serious now. We got to do a PSA. Okay? Listen, Tom Brady. Had a great career, okay? But you're now goat cheese, my man. It's time to go home, bruh.
To who?
Terrible. Listen, I just don't want to see. You know what he's like? He's like the boxer you've seen that he's like taking punches, and you're like, bruh, just go down or go home. This is getting bad now. I mean, it's not Tom Brady I remember. I don't want to remember him like this. It's like
that is the sad part.
It's like Jordan in Washington. It's like, bruh,
No, Jordan Washington's still an all-star.
No, he's still an all-star, but it wasn't Jordan, though. It wasn't MJ.
Yeah,
it was like
22 a game.
Michael.
Yeah.
You know, it was Michael. It wasn't MJ, though. It wasn't the tongue out. It was Michael.
Oh, my
You know?
goodness.
And Tom Brady right now, he's like Thomas Brady. I don't know what I'm watching right
Thomas
now.
Edric Patrick Jr. is what he's doing right now.
His
whole name out there.
No, Antonio Brown. Nobody living
I mean,
in the
he's
house
yelling at
anymore.
people on the sidelines. It's like, bro, they're going to start yelling at you soon.
Yeah,
bro, 'cause I mean,
again,
it ain't looking good.
And we
bro.
saw it yesterday, and we're used to seeing that intensity, right, of him throwing the tablets, getting fired up. Yesterday, to me, it looked more as if he was defeated.
He's
It was
resigned.
kind of like, it wasn't a smash the tablet, and this went around. It was just him, a light toss of the tablet. Like, oh man, like it kind of looked like he was, it wasn't the fire we're used to seeing. It was kind of like, oh man, he looks like he could be down and out for the count.
But the fire we're used to seeing is a spoiled brat's whole career. Let's just put it out there. Let's call a spade a spade. Tom Brady's been a spoiled brat's whole career. He's been given everything. I'm enjoying this decline personally. I could care less about anything with Thomas Edric Patrick Brady Jr. I really care less.
Okay.
So that's just me. But at the same time, he doesn't have the same weapons.
No.
I mean, so that's Mike Evans.
And I think it's the offensive line a lot, too. I mean, you have Godwin and Evans, but these balls, I mean, he's just not putting them where they need to be either.
Well, I mean, he's 45. I mean,
45, wow. He wouldn't say that loud.
What do we expect, honestly? I mean, like, what do we expect?
I think we've been numb to Tom
45.
Brady for so long, and we're just kind of, expect greatness out of
I
him.
mean, he's putting Ben Gay on his arm every night.
Listen.
Before the game, he's putting it on.
If we're going to be honest, Tom Brady hasn't had a true Brady arm since 2016. He's just been getting away with it.
That's true.
When they won the Super Bowl that
That
year,
arm still was going down.
they looked
It
pretty
was
good.
stronger than Peyton Manning's.
Yeah, that was a complete fall off. And Peyton still got a Super Bowl because Von Miller was that good
Yeah, he was
that
throwing-
year. That was one of the
Even
best
his screen
performances.
passes were grimacing. It was like, oh, bro, that screen pass
I mean,
is
but
bad.
the greats all lose their arm strength.
Yeah.
Look at Drew Brees the last couple of years in New Orleans. I mean, it happens. Dan Marino, when he retired in 2000, his arm strength was gone. It happens.
Ben Roethlisberger.
Jay Cutler. Great.
Jay Cutler. I was watching. You guys ever watch the league? You ever watch the fantasy league? I was watching that the other day. He was on there, man. Jay Cutler. What a
Dan Orlovsky.
serious.
Jeff George. Shout out Jeff George.
Jeff George
Oh
reference.
man, we're going back to this is like below mid.
Strongest arm, man.
Yep. So let's keep moving here quickly. Jason, 49ers, same with the Super Bowl, Brock Purdy.
Brock Purdy, C. Trent Dilfer.
So you're saying yes?
I think
so
they
is that
can.
defense is good enough to win the Super Bowl then with Brock Purdy?
Yes.
I'm with you.
They're number one in every category.
Every category. They got getting health is big for that Niner defense.
But they're number one in every category. And again, when you have Fred Warner leading your defense,
man, Fred Warner
anything is possible.
We got
Middle
Fred
linebacker.
Warner. Man, they got Nick Bosa up front. They got
Listen,
Travis Ward.
The Niners are the biggest threat outside of Philadelphia.
Yeah.
NFC or league wide?
NFC.
NFC, I'm with you there. Niners, I like what I've seen out of them. Kyle Shanahan, again, always one of the best coaches in a lot of people's eyes, but still has not got that Super Bowl victory yet. We'll see if he can do it this year. But again, NFC is going to be interesting to watch down the stretch. But we'll stick with the NFC. Here is the biggest favorite on the slate yesterday. This was the biggest favorite of the season yesterday. Cowboys were given 17.5 points to the Houston Texans. And over the weekend I thought I had read that number wrong, but that was right. 17.5 point favorites as Davis Mills was inserted back in the starting lineup in Houston. Again, it was in Dallas, but just a short trip from Houston to Dallas for the Texans. And the Texans led this one almost throughout the game. They took the Cowboys an 11-play final drive. They went 80 yards to score the game-winning touchdown. They outscored the Texans 10-0 in the fourth quarter. Dak, the last 5 games, was averaging 35 points with that Cowboys offense. Not the same success there yesterday. Zeke and Pollard both find the end zone. But Jason, what about the Cowboys there? I mean, the Cowboys have been the talk of the NFC. Like some people even say they're better than the Eagles coming in. The defense, they're that good. They're this good. They looked pretty bad yesterday against the Texans. Does that kind of hesitate you a little bit on them going forward? I know you weren't big on them, as a chance to win the NFC
anyway.
But I'm telling you, I think we're all the only ones.
It's not surprising me. Dak Prescott is Black Kirk Cousins.
Light bulb just went off with
Captain Midnight.
Yeah, it's Captain Midnight.
This is one of the greatest shows we've ever had
Captain
so
Midnight.
far.
No,
Oh my God.
No, I don't trust Dak. I don't trust Zeke's knees or ankles in the playoffs.
Terrence Steele now out for the season.
Yeah,
the right tackle.
that's a
That
big
kills
blow.
him. That kills him.
And the Cowboys signed T.Y. Hilton today. Why? Anybody explain?
I think they activated James Washington as well this past weekend. He broke his foot in
Why'd
the
you
preseason.
sign T.Y. Hilton for what? When you have Gallup and Lamb.
James Washington and Odell's in the building, right?
Oh, no. Odell's not going to Dallas. He's not going there.
Des Bryant was unavailable.
Oh, man. Des Bryant. There we go.
You might well sign
Throw
Irvin.
up the X there.
Of the X, man.
You might well sign Irvin. You're going to talk about Des Bryant.
Hey, T.O. still runs a good 40 time, man.
T.O.'s probably
I
still
would
trying
take-
out places,
I
man.
would
T.O.'s one of
take-
my favorite receivers of all
I
time.
would take T.O. over half these people in the league right now. At this point in the season, I would take T.O.
That man played in the Super Bowl
a broken leg.
With a broken
Listen.
leg.
Shout out to, I ain't gonna say that.
That's all right. Yeah, you're not doing that.
Donovan McNabb, but, whatever.
That one, I agree with you there. I'll give you that one. I think,
AKA duck sauce.
is he the most made quarterback to get to that? I mean,
No, he's not.
No.
He's been to how many NFC
There's a fine
championships?
lineage of mids.
No.
Trent Dilfer was.
Oh, well, no. I'm not talking.
He won the Super Bowl.
Yeah, he won the Super Bowl. I still don't.
The most mid quarterback to get to the Super Bowl is Rex Grossman.
That's true. I agree. And I'm, again, Florida Gator fan.
Humphreys?
No. Rex
Humphreys
Grossman.
from San Diego?
No, it's Rex Grossman still by a long shot. Rex
That
Grossman.
Bears team had no business
It was just defense.
being, and then Devin Hester. And Devin Hester had, I think, 7
Defense and
return
Devin
touchdowns that year. I mean,
But Deion called him.
and he did it in the Super Bowl. He returned it, become Super Bowl,
over the
lose
kickoff.
that game with Rex Grossman.
Yeah.
Oh man, we're
They
talking
playing
about all
against Peyton Manning
kinds of
as well,
stuff
so
today.
it makes sense.
That's true. And Peyton Manning struggled in that game. I think that game
Yeah.
was in Jacksonville or Miami. So let's go down to the Detroit Lions, who beat the Vikings again. Jason mentioned they were small favorites coming into this one. Matt, they get the win, 5 out of 6. For Detroit. They're trying to make a playoff push. They're just outside the playoff picture right now. Jared Goff continues to light it up. He was a throw-in in that Matthew Stafford deal just to get the money to work, just because they had to pay him so much money. They said, sure, just take Jared Goff.
They both throw in.
27 of 39, 330 yards, 3 touchdowns. He's lighting it up. Captain Mid, Matt, though, a good game for him. 31 of 41, but they were playing from behind. 425 yards, 2 touchdowns. Justin Jefferson had 11 catches, 223 yards. And then how about our boy Jamison Williams? Scoring his first touchdown on his first career NFL catch.
Man.
We knew he was going to be that deep threat he was at Ohio State and Alabama. Well, that play, there was no one within 20 yards of him. He burned everybody down the field, was able to get into the end zone. What have you seen out of the Lions here so far, Matt? And are they a team that, starting to look pretty good? Are they a team that can make some noise in the playoffs if they get there?
I think they're dangerous. I mean, they've got Dan Campbell's given them a really good attitude. I think the pieces that they got, Ahmad St. Brown, you have,
Swift looks like he's starting to get back,
Swift and
right?
Williams
Hopefully
have been,
if he's not healthy, get a little bit healthier.
thunder and lightning,
Yeah.
nice little duo there. But this is. Let's talk about the elephant in the room, Captain Mid. So,
and this was a big one. That's how you know, right?
This is why you know he's mid, because he had 425 yards and they still lost.
By double
bad.
digits.
By
double
like,
digits.
that's how mid you are. When you throw for 400 yards and the other team still wins. Like, come on, man.
425 yards, and they put up 23 points on offense. It's
And
not
Justin Jefferson caught like 200 of them these passing yards.
just throw it up, and Justin Jefferson will go get it.
But Jamison Williams, I
I
really want to touch on him real quick.
Yeah,
and then, of course, I would love to hear what Jason got to say. But Jamison Williams, shout out. It's been a long road back. I was really impressed with what they've been able to do to get him back on the field. A lot of people don't know this, but Alabama uses technology in practices that it's like clocks their speed, clocks their
crazy
cuts.
now. It really is.
It can tell you if there's a hamstring that could be coming along.
It's and you can't. That's the thing with those guys in college now, and we talked about it a little bit. You can't take a play off. You can't, not run your sprint 100% because they've got you all worked up. They'll know if you're jogging, if you're not playing well, if you're not hustling around the field. It's insane.
And in this GPS thing that's in their uniforms. The Lions actually used it to get the rehab back. So they were waiting for him to hit certain markers on his speed and his cuts. And once he hit those markers, that's what got him in. So, shout out to Jameson Williams, man. Technology is beautiful.
It is. And he's going to fit right into that offense with Jared Goff. And that offensive line has been fantastic all year long. That's something we talked about.
One thing Jared Goff can do is throw the deep ball.
Yeah.
He can't do anything else.
That's right.
He can throw a deep ball. You going to ask him for a slant, you got a problem.
Let me ask you this, and again, this is going to be off topic, but just sticking with this subject here, guys. We're talking about Kirk Cousins and Jared Goff. One game, you got to win. You need to win one game. We'll just call it the Super Bowl, whatever game it is. Who would you rather have a quarterback, Jared Goff or Kirk Cousins?
Well, Jared Goff can play at night, so I'm going to take Jared Goff.
I'd take Jared Goff.
I'm taking Jared Goff.
Jared Goff, yeah.
Listen,
Before the season, I don't know if we would have. We probably would have taken Kirk Cousins.
No. I still would have taken Jared Goff if the game's at night. If it was 1 p.m. or 4 p.m.
This one was at 1 p.m.
It was in Detroit.
Again, I think it's a big game factor too. Like this was a big one where the Vikings were 10-2 underdogs as they went on the road in the division. Again, not a lot of people saw that, but again, Lions were favored for a reason. And they
I want to circle
this
this stat that I'm looking at right now. If you have a Pro Bowl running back, these numbers, 15 carries, 23 yards, like a 1.3 yard per carry average. We can't have that.
And they were driving to tie the game, and Cook fumbled at the goal line. They were at the 10-yard line. So they were going to set up the running back jump pass. They handed it to him. He was getting in line. He was going to jump and throw it. He got hit, fumbled. That was the game. They were driving to tie the game at that point. Cook put it on the ground.
Why do they call that play? You have Dalvin Cook, who's bigger than most people.
Because they got Captain Mid under center. Listen, we're not letting him throw the ball in the red zone.
No, it's not that.
They let Dalvin Cook throw it.
No, not let Dalvin Cook throw it, but if you're at the goal line, if you're in a goal situation, you run that with him. You don't take away his best ability to do a trick play.
And I know the Lions were at home, right? But again, that defense is nothing to be scared of. They were one of the worst defenses statistically in the NFL.
But they play great at home.
And they play better at home.
They play great at home.
And I guess maybe that's why they decided to try that. Not sure, but it did not work out for them. And the Lions, again, 5 of 6, looking at maybe a potential playoff.
Lions make the playoffs. I'm going to tell you this, answer this before we go to the next thing on our list here. The Lions make the playoffs because I see the Giants slide now.
They're dealing with some injuries too, right? They're starting to unravel.
So I think they swap.
Tough schedule there down the stretch. We'll see.
I think the Commanders move up to 6, and the Lions come in as a 7th seed. That's what I see. NC wrap it up as.
Lions make the playoffs, Matt?
I think so.
I'm going to say they get in. Dan Campbell going to be up there for Coach of the Year. Not going to win it, though. Nick Sirianni going to take home those honors, at least as it stands right now. Let's get to Sunday Night Football. Justin Herbert outdoing Tua Tagovailoa. Again, both of those guys drafted 2 years ago in the top 7. Herbert just 1 pick after Tua in that draft, and the Chargers at home. And again, every game that the Chargers play at home is an away game for them. No matter who they're playing, the crowd is rooting for the other team. Last night it was clearly in favor of the Miami Dolphins. Didn't matter, though, 23-17 as Justin Herbert, he looked good. 39 of 51, 367 yards, and a touchdown. No?
51 passes don't look good to me at all. I don't care who you are. That's too many.
Completed 39 of them?
Still too many. That is not a recipe to win.
I think that's more on Lombardi than it is on Justin Herbert.
It won this game. But your quarterback, I don't care who you are, you cannot throw the ball 50-plus times and expect to win all those games. You're tiring your arm out, and that means you're not running the ball effectively at all.
I agree with you, too. And again, they're dealing with some injuries up there on the offensive line. But I think going forward, I think you're right. They're going to have to figure that out. Because Austin Eckler, one of the best backs in the league as well.
But what I will say is this. Him throwing 51 times means he's healed for that rib injury.
And he's starting to run a little bit,
yeah,
too. You can see he looks a little bit healthy.
If anything, that proves that he's healthy again. But you don't want to have to prove that he's healthy. Just play, you know.
And again, this was, in terms of a defensive performance, probably the best that we've seen out of the Chargers all year long.
Without Bosa and James.
Without Bosa, without Derwin James. Yeah. And they hold that Miami offense, which is top 3 or 4 in the NFL, to just 17 points. These two stats are by far the worst of the season, and it's not even close. I think his over-under in the game was 290 yards. He threw for, 145 yards. Half of that. 10 completions on 28 attempts. He leads the NFL in passer rating and completion percentage. mean, this was what
This
was what we saw out of two of the last 2 years without Mike McDaniel in this offense. Man, he looked horrible, and that defense for the Chargers looked good. What are you thinking of the Dolphins now going forward after that performance?
I mean, look, I'm not just taking this as one performance. I've never been a full buy-in on Tua. I think he's got great weapons, and I think he's made those weapons really work this year. Shout out to him. I mean, that's what you got to do. But I've never been bought into Tua.
Yeah, and I agree.
To me, he's just a guy that I think we could probably see floating around other teams. I think he's going to be like Jared Goff in a few years, where like they try to work with him, and then they say, you know what?
Fresh start, we'll get a fresh start.
Let's get another one. Let's get another one. I just
best for both sides.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think he's got the pedigree. I think he had the resume. It's supposed to be the Tua draft, and I think the Dolphins are still hoping that it's Tua, that he's that guy.
It was tank for Tua 2 years ago. That was it, tank for Tua.
I don't think he's that guy. I think Herbert's more that guy. And I'll say this about Herbert, and I do agree with you, throwing that many times for Justin Herbert is not a recipe for wins. But I'll say this, the Chargers they're hell-bent on giving Eckler as many passes as they can.
That's true.
I don't know if they want to use him like McCaffrey, but they seem to be very focused on getting him screens. And this is an interesting point. Eckler's never had a 1,000-yard rush season ever.
Well, when he's catching 60 passes.
And again, Joe Lombardi coming over from the New Orleans Saints back a few years ago when they drafted Justin Herbert. He was the one that got Kamara back in his rookie season and the year after. So they run that same offense they used with the Saints. They just now carried over, and Eckler's the new Kamara in that Chargers offense, has been the last couple of years. And
Joe Lombardi belongs back on NFL Network.
Yeah, and he's getting a lot of pass work there. But I mean, Justin Herbert though got his weapons back last night, right? Keenan Allen's finally had a game under his belt.
Keenan Allen looked nice last night.
And Mike Williams returns. He looked really good last night as well.
They're both well rested.
Yeah, that's true. So they look good. Mike Williams, 160 yards and a touchdown. I thought on that touchdown he might have been hurt, as he is. He usually has a big catch that he limps off, but he caught a touchdown, looked good there. I said Keenan Allen did not have to leave the game. Those are all good signs for the Chargers. So who more confidence do you guys have going forward? Is the Dolphins or the Chargers? Jason, start with you.
Wow. Oof.
It's a tough one, huh?
That's like saying you like liver or chitlins.
And I think what you get with both offenses, for me, it comes down to who's going to, who's a better chance
either one of those.
get you a stop on defense. Right? I mean, that's how I look. I think both offenses can be good. I like the Chargers I like the Dolphins offense, but I like Herbert so much more than Tua. It's tough for me.
I got more faith in the Dolphins because I have no faith in the Chargers medical staff.
Yeah, that's true too. I'm all about Mike McDaniels.
I mean, listen.
I think Brandon Staley is an okay coach.
No, I agree with that. I mean, after what they did to Tyrod Taylor, I don't trust them words anything.
Oh my God.
Yeah. But honestly, I think the Dolphins' defense is actually a bit healthier than the Chargers' defense.
Yeah.
And that's the difference.
Yeah.
That's the difference. It's the Dolphins' defense being healthy at the right time.
I'm going to go with the Dolphins as well. I have more confidence in Mike McDaniel and that offense, Tyreek Hill, the weapons they have. Again, not confident about both defenses. I think Herbert's the better quarterback, and I don't think it's particularly that close.
It's not close at all.
Yeah,
No,
so again, I think if you had Herbert in Miami with Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle and Mike McDaniel, he might be the MVP.
They'd be a Super Bowl contender if he was there.
So again, that'll wrap up our conversation on Herbert and Tua. Let's get to Monday Night Football now, guys. We're here already.
Just going to skip over the fact that the Ravens beat a team with
that's where I wanted to ask you.
With a third-string quarterback yesterday.
Two things I wanted to throw in before we got to Monday Night Football. I wanted to have you touch on the Ravens and the Steelers, even though the game was very ugly.
Oh, it was
very, very ugly. In a battle of Mitch Trubisky, who turns the ball over 3 times and not even a full game's work for Mitch Trubisky. Again, he was the big signing of the offseason for Pittsburgh. Again, no Lamar. Huntley goes down for the Ravens, and
bring in
they're still
Anthony
able to
Brown.
Anthony Brown. Jr. And again, at that point, the Steelers were building some momentum in that game. I thought Anthony Brown comes in. I said, Pittsburgh's going to, maybe come back and win this one. They were able to hold on.
So a lot of Ravens fans, myself included, were wondering why Anthony Brown was on the active roster to begin the season, because he played great in the preseason for the Ravens when he got in the game. Then to put Brett Hundley over him, we still didn't understand that. So for Anthony Brown to get some play last night, I mean, the guy only played at Oregon and was a great quarterback while at Oregon while he was there. So, and shout out to the Ravens for having 3 black quarterbacks, 1, 2, and 3 on the depth chart. You don't see a lot of teams do that. So, shout out to the Ravens. But honestly, yesterday's game was more about the defense. The There's a reason why we went and got
Oh my goodness!
Roquan
Yeah, I
Smith.
knew you were going to say that.
There's a reason why.
He
And
looks
there's a-
so good there.
and
He's your Ravens linebacker.
He covered up all of Marcus Peters' mistakes again. Yeah.
And I will say, though, when he slammed Kenny Pickett on that. I can't believe there wasn't a flag. You saw some of those flags like they won. I think it was last night on Herbert or Tua, one of them, and it was ridiculous. I mean, he slammed Kenny Pickett.
He's a rookie.
It cost him out of the game. He had
He's a
concussion.
rookie. You don't get
No flag. That's right.
Rookie wasn't getting that.
You heard Gary Wilson, too, say that the other day. He said the referees told him yesterday, this ain't Ohio State anymore. So when he was asking for calls yesterday. So the rookies, they're not getting the calls this year.
But it's just, it warms my heart to see the Steelers lose. That's our biggest rival. I didn't like them. I never liked them. Still don't like them now. So, but I think this game says more about the Ravens. I know we talked last week about this is going to be deja vu all over again.
Yeah.
Clearly it wasn't, because we lost all our games after Lamar got hurt last year. And this is one game up, still in first place. But again, I think it says a lot to the defense. Credit to Mike Donald for the defense playing the way they're playing right now. But the jury's still out on the offense, honestly. But we got J.K. Dobbins back. J.K. had
He looked good yesterday.
120 yards,
I'll tell
right?
you, he looked like J.K. Dobbins from last
J.K.
year.
But again, how many games is he going to play?
And that's let me ask you this: is Lamar going to be back next week?
I don't think Lamar comes back next week. I think Lamar comes back
either.
for the Christmas Eve game versus the Falcons at home.
Oh man, there's gonna be some. And speaking of the Falcons, real quickly now that you said it, they have moved on to Desmond Ridder.
Yes, they have.
They have benched Marcus Mariota, though they will put him on IR. They say he's dealing with an injury. Either way, out of the bye week, they're going to give the reins to Desmond Ridder. Do you think that benefits him, Matt? There, finally, we'll see Drake London and some of those other guys a little bit better in the passing game.
I don't know. He's a rookie. You just don't know. But I will say this about the speaking about rookies. I do think the Steelers got themselves a gem with Pickens. I think Pickens is going to be one of the better wideouts in that draft class.
I agree with you, too.
He catches everything.
Yeah, he looked really good. But look, Desmond Ridder, I was surprised he went I think they got him in the third round, I believe.
Second or third round, yeah.
I was surprised along with the Titans kid that
Willis?
that went. I think he definitely went in the third round, didn't he?
Yeah, he slipped a little bit, Willis.
Because
I
he
think
fell
went
out.
to
Right? But yeah, look, it's about time. I mean, Marcus Mariota, no matter how his agent tried to spin it, it was a rental. It was just there until Desmond Ridder, caught the offense. And look, Drake London, who's another great, promising wideout, he needs the ball. And so does Kyle Pitts and.
Say it again. Yeah. Kyle Pitts.
Man, again, that injury, that hurts. But again, he wasn't doing a lot before the injury, not
He's on
because
the
of
milk
Marcus Mariota.
Yeah.
So we'll see if Ridder can get that offense going a little bit. But again, a rookie, not sure what to expect. Looked okay in the preseason when he got in. So we'll see. Again, nothing can be worse than Marcus Mariota this year. Again, the efficiency's there, but it's just hard to get the passing game going. With a quarterback that throws the ball 10 times a game, it's hard. Yeah. So we'll see there. But the Panthers now, they get a win quickly yesterday. They're actually up they have a chance to win the division now under new head coach Steve Wilks. Sam Darnold and company going in and getting a big win on the road over Geno Smith in Seattle. They are in position now to make a push for that division with that win
I heard
yesterday.
that. If they went out, they're in.
Yeah, I mean, that's crazy.
That's
That's crazy.
crazy.
If they went out, they're in. That's insane.
I mean,
It's immoral. But
so Dennis,
just had to throw that in there.
I guess my bet's still on because that division's so trash. I guess my bet's still.
Yeah, that division.
My bet's still in there.
Jacksonville taking down Tennessee. They're now 2 games behind the Titans for that division in the AFC South. There's some bad divisions out there this year. And they're both happen to be in the AFC and NFC South. So the South's not doing too well this year. Let's get to Monday Night Football, though, guys. Let's preview, again, another game that really doesn't have me too excited about it. We'll see. It's the Patriots and the Arizona Cardinals, 6-6 versus the 4-8 Cardinals here. The Patriots are 3-point favorites. Over under sitting at 44, so pretty low. They're not expecting a shootout. Ramondre Stevenson's been kind of the big focal point for the Patriots this year in terms of offense. Not a lot to really get too happy about. He led them in receptions and carries last week, Matt. He's going to look to get that going here tonight. But the Cards are 1-6 at home this season. They're the worst home team in the NFL since 2018. 11-27-1 at home in Arizona. They get the Patriots tonight, Matt. No Damian Harris, no Jacoby Myers, no Rondale Moore for the Cardinals. What are you looking for tonight in this battle of, dare you say, mid-teams?
Well, first of all, I'm ecstatic to see this game.
Oh, are you?
I'm ecstatic.
You got a big fantasy night tonight, then? That could be the only reason.
No. Just let me know that things could be worse for me in my personal life. Because these guys, The Patriots are like fresh off a divorce with Tom Brady, so they're kind of like starting their life. They're out there single.
Midlife crisis.
Yeah, midlife. They're going to the bars.
They're dating again. Yeah,
they're dating again. They're dating Mac Jones. Like, dude, I know.
Bailey
I like
Zappi,
you.
seeing him a little bit on the side.
Yeah, And then you have the Cardinals here, they got married again to Kyler Murray, and like
he's ignoring all his duties, playing video games, right?
Marriage ain't looking too good.
Not taking trash out of there.
So
He's playing too much Call of Duty.
you need these kind of reminders. It's like when I watch, like you watch shows and you're just like, wow, my life is pretty good. It's not that bad. So like it's a good game. But yeah, serious note. Stevenson, he's basically phased out Harris. Harris started the year there as basically their primary starter. Stevenson does everything that Belichick loves, which is catching and not fumbling. So when you can do that, you're going to get a lot of playing time. Jacoby Myers being out definitely hurts them. He's the best wideout they have there.
Ooh, over Aguilar?
I think so. Most talented, I think. Okay. Maybe not best hands, but definitely most talented.
Okay.
And then, as course, I think Rondo Moore is he's that guy that has all the speed, has everything that pops out on tape, but because he's injury prone, we might never see it at the next level. That's kind of a shame. But I mean, look, I'm sure Dortch is going to do something today. He'll probably get like 9 catches for 60 yards.
Will we have DeAndre Hopkins sighting at all?
I'll say if we're talking about fantasy, I'm going to need him for about 40 tonight if he does.
Hollywood? Anybody?
Hollywood? Yeah, we'll see if we can get either one of those guys.
James Conner?
Conner will get a goal line. By the way, Conner is not a good running back. And
especially when you don't split carries with him. When he's your solo back, it just wears and tears on. I agree with you. He's not a guy.
He's like a 2-yard per carry guy. I don't know why people keep saying he's a good back. I'm
just happy he's in the NFL after everything we went through in college.
Oh man,
so
again,
absolutely. That's just for me.
It was great in Pittsburgh for those 2 years.
Other than that, he's okay.
You've got a great heart, man. I like that about you. Me, Connor, you're mid, bro. Sorry. Jason, he loves you though, because you did it. You beat the odds. Respect to you, but bro, you got to do better than 2 yards a carry.
He got his money. He got a little bit of money.
Honestly, this game is complete trash. I'll be watching Game of the Week on NBA TV tonight. I'm watching.
I don't blame you. It's pretty trash.
We'll watch college basketball.
Well, so let me ask you guys this again. We've had some bad ones on Thursday night, mostly Thursday nights.
Yeah.
And,
this
some
one's
on
going to take the cake
Sundays.
tonight.
Some Mondays. Are we going to have another? Is it going to be a 0-0 game at half? Some stuff like that, where we're going to be like tearing it all. Is it going to be that bad?
You know what? No.
Really
this game actually might be high scoring because neither one of the teams stopping anybody from scoring the ball. It's going to be a high scoring game.
I'm gonna go low. I'm gonna go low scoring game. Mac Jones not good against the blitz. Cardinals blitz more than any other team in the NFL.
Kyler Murray is
They're both not good. But I think the Cardinals are bad at home. I think this has a recipe to be a
17-14,
a 17-14, a 17-10, a 20-10 game.
Shout out to Kyler the Midget Murray. But Mac Jones, he's the most interesting story for me with this season, because before the season everybody was talking like Belichick got him right.
He got it right.
Yeah.
We don't need an offensive coordinator. That was
we
don't need one.
Tom Brady. I'm going to do something with him. Watch me. And this season we're all like, yeah, I don't know if that's the guy.
You should probably have an offensive coordinator.
Yeah. Should probably do that, man.
Oh man, I'll tell you. I'm interested to see how he does tonight against the Cardinals. Again, I don't have high expectations in this game, but I will watch it. I will try to watch it, depending how it goes. So we'll see. But let's get to some of these over-unders and pick those guys. Let's see what we can get right tonight. Let's start with Kyler Murray here, quarterback for Arizona Cardinals. Over-under passing yards, 234.5. Jason, we'll start with you. Is he going to be over against that defense?
Over. Yeah.
Matt?
Midget Murray gets it. Yep.
Gets it over.
Yep.
Give me the under. I'm gonna. If I get all these bad things out of it, maybe we'll get a good game. I'm gonna take the under. Let's talk now to Mac Jones, 231.5 passing yards. No Jacoby Myers for him, his number one target. Matt, does he get there tonight?
I think just short of that, 215.
Under.
Oh,
so we're all taking the under on Mac Jones against the blitz tonight. Interceptions for Mac Jones. Is he gonna throw one? He's over.
Yes.
Sitting right at half.
Over.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm going to say
over.
Give me the over. Oh, why not?
Yeah,
let's go to James Conner, your boy Matt here at 59.5 rush yards. Does he get to 60 tonight?
Nah, he's going to get like 20 yards and a touchdown.
Oh, he's going to get
He gets
in,
like
yeah.
20 yards and 2 touchdowns, knowing him. That's how he does it.
I'm going to say no as well, not against that New England defense, even though I think I'm going everything low scoring tonight. Jason?
I'm going to go over, but it's not going to be by much.
59 and a half yards. I'm taking the over.
He'll probably like 65 with 2 touchdowns. Like you said.
Let's stay with you here again, Jason. Kyler Murray, rush yards, 39 and a half.
Under, because he hasn't been doing it all year.
He hasn't been doing it. I'm going to go under again as well.
Nah, Mitch's legs ain't working this year.
They're not
man.
running as fast as we're used to seeing him run down the field. Here, let's now get to some wide receiver action. DeAndre Hopkins receiving yards, 75 and a half, Matt.
I think he gets that.
Over. I'm going to go over.
Yeah.
Over. All three of us taking the over there. Let's go to receptions, though. Is he going to get 6.5 catches, Jason?
Yes.
6.5 catches. I think he'll get 7.
I think he goes over that.
There we go. Completions for Kyler Murray, 22 and a half in this game, man.
Just over.
Over.
Just over.
Doesn't include the other team.
Unfortunately not. But he does have an over-under of half an interception. You can take the over there?
Yeah.
Give Jason the over.
I think Dortch will lead the team in catches, though.
Okay, there you go.
That's a
Let's
good
take a
one.
look at James Conner receptions, 3.5.
No.
No.
Yes, over.
There you go. Jason, take the over there. Ramondre Stevenson, carries and rush yards. Carries, Jason, 17 and a half, 77 and a half rush yards.
Over on both.
Over on both. Give me, man, they threw him the ball so much last weekend.
They did.
Give me the over. I'm going to take the over on both as well, I think. He is their only form of offense, especially with Jacoby Myers out.
I'm going to go over.
Over. I think he may catch 10 balls, run it 20 times. Who knows? He's going to get a lot of work tonight. Devontae Parker, 39 and a half yards. He usually has one big catch a game. Is he going to get there to 40?
Yeah, he'll get that.
I'll say get 42.
Yeah, he'll get that. That'll be it, though.
Here we go with the receptions for Ramondre Stevenson, 5.5. Does he have 6 catches tonight out of the backfield, Matt?
He'll go just under that.
I'm going to say over.
I'm under.
Under. Longest rush from scrimmage for Stevenson, 17 and a half yards.
Under.
Over.
I think he goes over.
Over that. All right, and let's go with one more here to end it on our over-unders. DeAndre Hopkins' longest reception, 23 and a half yards.
Yes.
Yes.
Under.
Under there for Jason. And guys, now here, let's get to some of these X factors. Anytime touchdowns. That's true. You can see over the line of scrimmage. Again, speaking of which, head coach Lincoln Riley having another Heisman Trophy winner over the weekend. Caleb Williams now has 4, I believe 4. Is it 3 now? Kyler Murray, Baker Mayfield, Caleb, and am I missing one?
So basically, you're telling people not to draft this
I was
guy.
going to ask you guys that next. Are these Heisman Trophy winners? We'll see how he does in the league.
No, y'all not going to do my man Caleb. Shout out to the DMV. Caleb Williams.
That's right, first
Maryland,
Heisman Trophy winner from the DMV. That's right.
Shout out to Caleb Williams.
In history, you love to see
got
that
that
there.
Baker Mayfield juice on him, man. I'm out.
Oh, but not the juice.
I mean, again, we don't have time because it was Thursday, but we didn't get to recap that one. How about that? Worst game ever until the final minute where he goes
Baker
98
came in
yards.
off the couch.
Yeah, he got off a plane 8 hours before that game. All right, guys, what are you going with for the game tonight? Give me your X factor and your picks here. Pats -3 on the road against the Cardinals.
I think the Pats get the dub, and I think it's all going to be based on what Stevenson can do.
I'm going to take the Patriots in this one. I'm going to lay the 3 on the road with the worst home team since 2018. Jason, what about you?
It can't get as bad as this. I'm going with the Cardinals.
Okay.
Jason's had some few winners though here on some of these big ones, so we'll go with that. Jason going with the Cardinals. Are you going to take the 3 and win outright? Taking the money line?
I'm taking the 3.
Taking the 3. There you go. All right, guys. Before we close it out, anytime touchdown. Who gets in the end zone tonight in this one? Matt, start with you. Can be from either team. Who's going to be your anytime touchdown scorer?
Hunter Henry.
Hunter Henry. You get some good odds on that one. There you go. Hunter Henry could definitely find the end zone. Jason, what do you think?
Man, I need to add him to my fantasy for tonight because I need to tie it in for the game. So.
you got about
He'll get
half
one.
an hour.
Yeah.
Who's scoring tonight?
Anytime score? Well, James Conner.
James Conner. That's good. Give me Ramondre Stevenson. I know he's probably one of the favorites to get in the end zone. I'm going to take him. I think that's easy money with the way he's been playing and the way that he's been utilized in that offense in New England.
I'm sorry,
give
no,
me
let me
Ramondre
change
Stevenson.
mine.
Yeah.
Kyler Murray gets in the zone. I'm going to go Kyler Murray.
Kyler Murray. You get some good odds there, too.
Okay.
Use the little legs, get it in.
rush.
There you
Yeah,
go.
rush. Gotta have a rush.
Action.
Okay.
There you go.
He probably won't throw for many, but he'll have a rush.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, there you
get
go.
a
Well, I guess
5-yard
that will
scamper.
clean it up. Dennis, who you got tonight? Patriots.
Patriots.
So Dennis going to go with the Pats as well. Again, not too excited about this one, guys. We'll see how it goes. But before we close out tonight, any closing words here on anything we've had over the weekend? Any topics? Anything you'd like to?
Yeah. Prayers up for Mike Leach, coach of Mississippi State. Had a massive heart attack a couple days ago. So prayers up for Coach Mike Leach. Has been an institution in college football for quite some time, from the air raid offense at Texas Tech to Washington State and to now at Mississippi State. So Hail State, and prayers up for Coach Mike Leach.
Yeah, 3-time Coach of the Year through different conferences. Yeah, I hope he's doing okay. Well, next week on the show, just to pay tribute again. Hopefully he's okay. But just to talk about Mike Leach, we're gonna have we're gonna get a montage of his best media moments, because he's got some good ones.
He's got some quotes.
So we're gonna look out for that one next Monday on the show. That's what we'll try to do. Or even this week if we get another show in on Thursday, look for that. Matt, anything you'd like to share here before we head out?
Yeah, Hubert Davis, North Carolina Tar Heels. You guys gotta wake up, man. You gotta start.
Wake up.
You gotta start getting it going, man. Because if you don't, you're not gonna make the tournament. Let's go.
All right, but that's all they need. All they need to do is get in that tournament. We'll see what happens last year. But yeah, they're starting a little bit slow here. It's crazy that we're already a month or two into college basketball. It's wild here.
Oh, and one more thing, Villanova. I'm sorry.
I'm
sorry, bro.
It's been bad. It's been tough.
Hometown, go Terps, number 20 in the country. Let's go.
Yeah,
Okay.
Maryland.
Maryland basketball's back.
And again, just R.I.P. Paul Silas, who passed away.
R.I.P. Paul Silas,
yeah, big time.
R.I.P. Paul Silas.
79 years old.
And Maryland needs to go back to the ACC, but that's another conversation.
There's a lot of things that we need to go back to.
Come on, the Big Ten don't even make sense, bro.
We have the old Big East back.
Come
That's
on,
what I
man.
want to.
Maryland don't even make sense in the Big Ten. Can't get no crabs up in
No
Ohio, bro.
way,
In the Big Ten country.
Crabs in football.
Come
That's
on,
what
man.
Maryland does. That's what Maryland does.
Crabs are in the Atlantic Ocean on the Atlantic coast side, man. Ain't no crabs up there, man.
Oh man, I'm agree. I would have changed
Come on,
them back.
bro.
Bring Syracuse, UConn, everybody back to the Big East.
Yeah.
Let's go back.
They
Let's
got
go back to
Rutgers
the
up there
old
too.
days.
Rutgers need to stop too, man.
Yeah,
Rutgers need to be
they do
independent.
need to
They need to stop. They need to go join the Sun Valley or something. I don't know.
Sun Belt. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, that football team is mid.
Kirk Cousins gonna be coaching that football team.
That's a fact.
Hey, if Greg Schiano can coach him, anybody can. But that's not. We digress.
Oh.
Well, that'll do it again for Jason, Matt, and myself, and Dennis back in the studio again. Some of my favorite lines from today was Tom Brady going home to who? That was a good one. And we had another good one with Matt as well. So we had a good show today. Everyone, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you either later this week. We'll keep you updated, or next Monday right here on DETV. So, guys, we will see you then. Thanks for tuning in, and get a good Monday night football game in today. Let's see if the Patriots and Cardinals can put some points on the board. We'll see you next week.